Good morning, everybody. It is our pleasure today to be hosting the second webinar on EBN's internationalization offer. My name is Edward, and I'm joined today by my colleagues, Javier and Marion. We definitely have some elements to cover today, so in order to have as much time as possible for the Q&A session, let's get right to it. Quick introduction regarding the webinar's interaction tool for those of you who are not familiar with the GoToWebinar platform. We're really looking forward to a lively discussion, so please do feel free to send us all your questions, which you can do via the question box on your screen. And please note that we'll keep the questions and answer as many as possible during the Q&A session. All right, so in today's agenda, we'll cover the following points. EBN's members' internationalization needs and expectations, and we'll focus on the main findings and the different types of needs. Once we've covered the needs and the expectations, we'll delve into our internationalization offer, which is comprised of 5 elements. The Internationalisation Helpdesk with a dedicated team, Marion and myself. The second element is the discovery missions, followed by the trade missions, the regional attraction webinars, and then the internationalization training program. Once we've covered the internationalization package, like I just mentioned, we're expecting some questions from your end, which we'll answer during the Q&A. Moving forward, we do think that before we cover the internationalization offer, it is important to highlight or underline the internal exercises that we conducted during summer 2019. An exercise which consisted of identifying our members' internationalization needs, and we found the following. As you already know, there is indeed an element of diversity when it comes to EBN's members' profiles and ecosystem. And this diversity in profiles and ecosystems also means that your range of needs and expectations will differ significantly from one another. Moving forward, and as mentioned in the previous slides, different types of needs. So let's have a look at these needs. Some of you would like to acquire more knowledge with regards to internationalization processes and activities, while some of you would prefer gaining knowledge about each other's ecosystems, thereby fostering more collaboration with other members. Some of you would like to discover other EU and international markets. Some of you would prefer just focusing on supporting your clients by making sure they can discover, access, and penetrate new markets within the EU or outside of the EU. And finally, some of you maybe would prefer focusing on attracting companies to your local ecosystem, thereby promoting your region. And as you see, very different needs from one another, and this really required us to think on how we could propose an international package that on the one end could really answer your specific needs, and this is what we'll be presenting now. So the introduction to the Internationalisation Helpdesk. So you may be recently seen some email communication. We now have a dedicated internationalization team, which is comprised of Marion and myself. So I think the first point is to make sure you understand that for all your internationalization requests, please do make sure to send them via the internationalisation@ebn.eu. And we'll make sure to reply as soon as possible. We will be the team overseeing the coordination and the implementation of all the internationalization service, and we'll make sure to be updating you regularly with some success stories. For all internal matchmaking, so if you're looking for any sort of internal, so that's within EBN's network, matchmaking between members, please do so via the email address above. And yes, all these points are included within the membership fee. So on the next slide, so the discovery missions, the discovery package is mainly targeted for companies who, let's say, are interested in gaining more knowledge about a specific market, who are starting to consider internationalizing their business, but would prefer going sort of through a discovery phase first. And included within this package, let's say your clients, your companies can expect that this discovery mission will be hosted by our members, thereby making sure that your clients going on the discovery mission will receive quality services. They can also expect some pre-departure online workshops, such as keys to internationalizations, how to select the right market, preparation to pitching, presentation about a hosting beacon ecosystem. And let's say that all these workshops are aimed at providing your companies, your startups, with the necessary knowledge and support, thereby making sure that they feel comfortable and hit the ground running when during the mission. What you and your clients can expect during the mission is obviously discover a local innovative ecosystem. Startups, companies going on the discovery mission will be placed in front of a panel of experts and local startups so that they can have the opportunity to pitch their business. Some matchmaking services, networking sessions with local experts, partners, and startups, a guided tour of the hosting EBN members facility, trainings with qualified local experts, and then a cocktail. And then minimum amount of companies needed for the implementation of the discovery mission is between 5 and maximum of companies is 10. And since the discovery mission will be hosted by an EBN member, we do expect some logistical support from the hosting member. That includes the promotion of discovery missions within the local networks, organization of on-site logistics, and then support in terms of finding local experts, corporates, and startups for matchmaking purposes. And also, we do expect some help and support from the sending member with regards to some potential logistics, and then scouting some startups who will go on the missions, but also regarding the organization of pre-departure trainings. So this discovery mission package is not included in the membership fee and will cost your clients a total of 1,500 euros. And that is excluding the cost of flights and accommodation. The fees will be shared between the hosting member and EBN. So right now we've presented to you the discovery mission in a nutshell. Obviously, if you have any questions or would like further information about this specific mission, please don't hesitate to send us all your questions via the question box, and we'll answer during the Q&A session. Moving forward to the next element in our internationalization package is the trade missions. And here our trade package is really targeted for companies who are currently in the phase of scaling up and therefore really ready to expand to targeted markets. So included within this trade package, your companies, your clients can expect that the trade mission will be, again, organized and hosted in collaboration with one of our members. Similarly to discovery mission, online pre-departure trainings will be organized to make sure that your clients have all the necessary knowledge to make this mission a success. And pre-departure trainings will be tailor-made to the specific needs of your clients and can include elements such as, for instance, how to navigate the admin and intellectual property landscape in a targeted market, cultural and business norms, tips and tricks to develop a global business from day one, market entry strategies. And again, all these pre-departure trainings are aimed to provide your clients with the necessary knowledge regarding the targeted country to make sure that this trade mission is a great success. Now you may ask yourself, what can you and your clients expect during the mission? One element is the discovery of another market, another ecosystem, and then specific tailor-made matchmaking meetings with potential investors, corporates, and then obviously commercial contacts. And then you can also expect a guided tour of the hosting EBN members facility. Complementary services to your clients. We are aiming to organize trade missions around same dates than high-level trade fairs, so that your clients can really capitalize on being present in the targeted country to make additional commercial contacts. The minimum amount of companies needed for the implementation of this trade mission is 5, and then the maximum amount of companies is 10. And again, since the trade mission will be hosted by one of our EBN members, we do expect some logistical support from the hosting member, which includes the promotion of the discovery mission within the local networks, the organization of on-site logistics, and then support in terms of finding the right experts, investors, corporates, and then commercial startups for matchmaking purposes. So this trade mission package will not be included in the membership fee and will cost your client a total of 3,500 euros. And again, this is excluding the cost of flights and accommodation. Moving forward to the regional attraction webinars, and as a starting point, I think it was important to highlight that certain amount of you mentioned during our internal exercise that you would really like to attract companies to your region and to your local ecosystem. And we've really taken that into consideration. And this is the main reason why we're proposing the regional attraction webinar, which you can see it as a sort of dedicated platform where you have the ability to showcase your own ecosystem and region. So now the overall aim of this activity is to generate demand from the companies attending the webinar to make sure that we can follow up and organize a tailored made discovery or trade mission. So on a quick side note here, it is important to underline that the organization conducting the regional attraction webinar needs to have the capacity to accommodate such a discovery or trade mission as a follow-up. The target group includes EBN members and their client companies and external stakeholders. The fee, obviously this will be included within EBN's membership fee, and it will be fee-based for non-members. Again, all the webinars will be recorded and will be made available through EBN's website, which will increase the visibility of the region. And the last point we wanted to highlight within this regional attraction webinar is that for 2020, we're planning to organize a total of 10 webinars. So if you're interested in showcasing your region, your infrastructure, your local ecosystem, please do get in contact with us as soon as possible. We're currently in the phase of planning the schedule for the webinars, so we would really appreciate having the final schedule by mid-January 2020. Moving forward onto the next slide is our internationalization training package, right? So EBN's training offer will soon be published, and you'll get access to a detailed version of the program. With regards to internationalization, we are planning on a mix of both online, so through the webinar platform, and then on-site trainings during Congress and in Brussels. Regarding the content of the trainings, I mean, it's important to highlight that we are flexible here and we're willing to take in consideration your specific needs when it comes to internationalization. And therefore, we can adapt our training program to answer your specific needs. Again, the trainings can be market or sector specific. So that's it with regards to the internationalization training program. And now we sort of finished presenting our internationalization offer, and we're looking to start the question and answer session now. So if you haven't already sent us questions, please do so right now via the question box on your panel. And just on a quick side note, before we do start with the question and answers, after the webinar, you will receive a very short survey, which would be fantastic if you could answer the questions. This will be very useful for us, so thank you in advance. And let's start the question and answer. As a first question we received, this is a question regarding the regional attraction webinar. And the question is it really on a first come, first served basis? And if okay with my colleagues, I'll take on these questions. So it is indeed on a first come, first served basis. But again, I do think it's important to highlight that the member that is organizing with us the regional attraction webinars really needs to have the capacity to host a discovery or trade mission as a follow-up. So I hope this answers your question. And now we can move on to the second question, which is discovery missions. So for what will be used the 1,500 euros per company? Will the support of EBN member be paid? And if yes, up to which amount, globally or by company? Do you want to take this question, Javier?
This is a question from Charlotte. Good morning. The price is calculated on the basis of the work that needs to be deployed fundamentally by the host BIC. That means if you are the sending BIC, your companies will have to pay for this, whereas the host BIC would receive some money for the preparation of that. We retain at EBN a very small amount just for our administrative work, plus the follow-up, etc., but the bulk of that goes to the host EU BIC. Having said this, you may very well be the host EU BIC, in which case for your work in order to prepare that mission, you will be remunerated. So I hope that that answers your question. I've seen a connected question to this. In the case of, well, two connected questions. In the case of trade missions, you're asking the same question for 3,500 for the trade missions. This is not just a visit. This is a one-to-one meeting, matchmaking, organized type of event. That means, let's imagine you have 5 companies that want to go to the US, and that is happening on a specific sector, or each of them who have their own specific sector. Our member in the US, or members in the US, or other partners, would prepare a specific range of one-to-one meetings, pre-filtered, on a matchmaking basis. That requires a substantial amount of bespoke work for each of the individual companies, and that is what is eating up the 3,500 budget per company. So I hope that replies to both of you. There's been another question earlier on about whether we can do this service for free. No, we cannot. This is money that we are sending to the EBN members. We do, however, have no problem to coordinate with other projects or programs in which you might be involved. And if you do have financing for those, that is fantastic. Or if there is any linkage that we could work out, it is absolutely fine with us. So don't take this for a closed type of initiative and offer. We are more than willing to discuss with each of you what could be the other options of projects or programs in which you are involved, and how we could maybe finance part of the activity via those.
Okay, fantastic. So let's move on to the next question, and this is with regards to if we have a plan with regards to the standard duration of the webinars and the format. And I think this is a very relevant question. So I think as a starting point, it's important to highlight that the standard duration of the webinar, we're looking at 1 hour. So let's say 30-35 minutes of presentation, and then the rest will be a question and answer. We're currently in the process of developing sort of guideline for regional attraction webinars, which will sort of provide you a step-by-step procedure on how best you can put forward your local region, and then yeah, so the format will be the same for everyone. It will be around 35 minutes presentation, and then the rest will be Q&A session. And then I saw that we had received another questions with regards to this, if we're looking for partners for the regional attraction webinars. So here again, as mentioned previously, we're really looking for our members to say, if you do want to showcase your region and you have the capacity to host a trade mission or a discovery mission as a follow-up, then we are asking you to put forward your name, and then we'll follow up with you individually.
We will, just to complement a little bit on that, we will guide you on how we believe that you could structure your webinar. We will be moderating it, but you are actually hosting the webinar, meaning you are explaining your region, you are explaining the smart specialization strategy of your region eventually, your corporate contacts, your investor contracts, or the facilities you have on the ground, whether they are of a lab nature or anything else. So it is up to you to decide what you want to put forward. We are more than happy to engage with you in preparing that and to engage with you in discussing what would make more sense or less sense for the bulk of the membership or for the interest of the webinar. But it is something that we understand is done regionally. Now, if you want to liaise with your, for example, regional development agency and do this together, that's fantastic. There's absolutely no problem with that. In as much as we stick to timing on the core presentation, we're absolutely happy with that kind of thing.
And just to follow up, because I see there's a question that sort of could be also complemented here. Will the webinars be free of charge for our startups? And I believe that the webinars will be free of charge for your startups. Now, the only occasion where the webinars will not be free of charge is for stakeholders outside of EBN membership.
Correct. So webinars are completely for free, both for you, for the other EUBs, and for every startup that wants to participate. Our purpose is precisely that if any of your regions wants to organize a webinar, we will try to do the maximum distribution of that information via members, but also directly to the startups that we know within the network, so that there is a very strong attendance. That is the purpose of the whole thing. And ideally, after the webinar, we will go back to each of the participating companies and try to gather whether there is interest for a trade mission or for a discovery mission in your region. If there is enough interest, one can expect that interest to be not from a single sending region, but from multiple other members, other sending regions. And in that case, we will pull it together ourselves, and we will organize it. That means a discovery mission or a trade mission can have two initiatives. Either it is one of you that have enough companies that are interested in one region or one sector, and then we organize it. Or because there's been a webinar before, there is enough interest across the network, and we will gather companies from different backgrounds and from different regions and make sure that nevertheless the trade mission or the discovery mission happens. So I hope that answers a little bit the flexibility that we are trying to build into the system. Although the offer is structured, it is meant to be pretty flexible.
Mm-hmm. And just following up on Paula's question, where should we send the request for setting a place for setting up the webinars? Well, as mentioned during the presentation, all your requests, you can send it via the dedicated help desk, and the email address is internationalisation@ebn.eu.
Those emails are read by Marion, by Edouard, and by myself. We're always on backup. So any interest you have in hosting a webinar, please let us know. We are planning next year. We already have several slots already booked, so we will start announcing those. So we need to plan a little bit in advance. We plan to do one webinar per month, roughly. So if there is more demand, fantastic. But we are also very conscious that we don't want to overload the companies with too much offer. So one webinar per month, and if you have a preferred month for holding the webinar and eventually later on a trade mission, please put that in your email, because that helps us a lot in trying to plan. So as Edouard said, internationalisation@ebn.eu.
And the same applies for Fatin's question here with regards to with regards to how to express an interest for trade missions. Again, send it via the email address. Moving forward to the next question. Okay, will you publish a list of PICs that offer hosting?
But that is an idea. Look, I see that that question is coming from you. You're always very active on these webinars. In principle, we take for granted that everybody that wants to host a webinar has got the capacity to host a trade mission or a discovery mission. Otherwise, it wouldn't make sense to have the webinar. So the ones that are going to be published, the webinars that we're going to host, those by definition have the 1 or 2 or 3 BICs in a single region that are willing to host. Additionally to that, we can start working on with each MVU to see which EBN EU BICs are willing to host, whether they hold that webinar or not. That is maybe less relevant, and we will try to produce that list. We didn't think about that, so we need to bring it back here on us at the office and then try to produce something that makes sense for everybody and keep it updated, maybe on the website or maybe somewhere where you guys can see it updated and you can tell us whenever anybody wants to join in.
Okay, great. We're still receiving some questions, and I see one here. What is the content of the internationalization training? Is it more about how to go international, tailored to specific sectors, or where to go depending on sector company specificities? I think that's a very relevant question. And as mentioned during the presentation, regarding the content of the trainings, we are flexible here, and we're really willing to take in consideration your specific needs when it comes to internationalization, and therefore adapt the training program to your needs. So if you have any specific requests, please do feel free to reach out to us again. More than happy to adapt the training program to specific needs.
This is Javier again. My ideal scenario is that the internationalization training is got a sort of standard part, that is the basics, and then we try to link it with the upcoming trade missions so that there is a little bit of preparation, early preparation if you want to, particularly if those trade missions are going to be outside the European Union. We know that the practice in the different markets is different, and if those trade missions are going to be sectorial. In that case, it is worthwhile spending a little bit of time on how does a sector get structured, what are the distribution channels, how do you get access to potential clients, and but that is as we go. So as I said before, very flexible, a standard part and a flexible part. But please do send us your wishes, your wish list, and we try to build them into the programs.
Okay, great, Javier. Moving forward, can the EBN members take part in the discovery and trade missions? Well, if you have any, specific interest in the targeted country, and you know that there's a discovery and trade mission that is currently being organized, then absolutely, I think for sure you can take part. It's very relevant for our members to be there on site. So I hope that answers your question.
By the way, we have done some, in the pilot exercise, we've done several things, but one of them was a specific trade mission organized for one member. And obviously the member was coming along with the companies and exploring the market just as much. That is an obvious one. I mean, if you're coming up with 5 companies, you're more than welcome to come along. If it is a general trade mission that we do for multiple companies from multiple EU BICs, there is always room for EU BICs to come along. We will need to see how we do that, and we'll need to see whether you want to take over part of the role that we do from EBN, accompanying the companies, because you coach them on a regular basis, so you're just as well capable of doing this as we are. So all that is pretty open, but don't hesitate to ask and to put yourselves forward.
Okay, Javier, thanks a lot. I think this finishes the question and answers. Obviously, like now you know that we've got this dedicated help desk service that is available. So if you have any follow-up questions, please do feel free to send it to us via the help desk, and we'll make sure to either pick up the phone and call you or answer via email. Again, I would just like to reiterate the importance for you guys to sort of answer the follow-up survey that you'll receive when the webinar platform closes. You'll receive a very short 2 minutes survey. It would be absolutely fantastic if you could answer. And again, a big thank you for joining us today. Okay, Javier has
a little parenthesis. Florine is asking for us to go back to her questions. I see two of you. I think we have answered the second one clearly, which is that you can come along with partners in organizing the webinars. I think I mentioned that if you want to liaise with your regional development agency or whatever. The first one was about what is the difference between EEN and AWEX. We have no formal relationship with EEN or AWEX. We obviously are in good relationship with both, but there is not a formal relationship and the programs are not linked. And I think I answered that if you happen to have those programs and if you're running EEN, we are more than willing to explore with you how we could collaborate together with that and make sure that we execute the program and you benefit from the financing that can come that way. The big difference here, particularly with EEN, is that the whole internationalization program that we are putting together is completely hands-on. That is, one of you sends the companies and prepares them, we help you do that, and another one of you is hosting the companies in a different country and help them get introduced in the country, whether it is for financing or for access to the market to clients. And that hands-on approach is what makes it very, very different from what I see happening at EEN or in other programs. Having said this, there are absolutely fantastic programs out there as well, and that's why I said for every single situation of yours, it is a case by case. Do contact us, and we are more than willing to explore how we could do things in collaboration with them or better.
Okay, fantastic. Just another side note here, obviously the webinar has been recorded and we're looking to upload it to our website, and we can also send you a link where you will be able to download it and review it or share it with your colleagues. So again, a big thank you for joining us, and we really look forward to receiving all your requests. Thank you.
Thank you very much, everyone. Bye-bye.